And yeah, in today's showcase I have StatsBloke. I recently had a little chat with StatsBloke and I asked him if I could showcase one of his videos. And he actually replied to me, well, that would be lovely, please do. So thank you StatsBloke for letting me do this. And for those of you who don't know who StatsBloke is, he recently joined the CC team and is a community contributor. On his YouTube channel he has a lot of great videos about patch updates and ship reviews and lots more. All his videos are clear, of high quality and well explained. He soon will have new reviews of the Lazo ship and the Lenin. So yeah, be sure to check out his YouTube channel as well. StatsBloke also streams on Twitch, where he often plays test ships and he gives away CC containers and camos. So yeah, be sure to follow his Twitch channel as well. And yeah, if you truly want to be one of the stats folk, then I would advise you to join his Discord server, which I can actually show you guys. I have to restart Discord again. Sorry for that. But yeah, his Discord channel is, oh, here we go. Yeah, this is his Discord announcement. He does giveaways on this on his Discord. Actually, he actually gives you an opportunity to be a part of he actually promotes me as well, so that's nice. Thank you for that as well. And yeah, lots and lots more, so yeah, that's definitely worth joining. So let's stop the music for a moment. The video I actually wanted to show you is his last video. Oh, sorry, Finch.
Yeah, no problem.
It's Discord, sorry about that. Yeah, it is his last video about the sister ship of the Cleveland. I'm not gonna pronounce the name because I probably butcher it. But yeah, just to show you what kind of videos he's making, how well he explains everything. So yeah, with further ado, let's watch the video and enjoy. Full screen. Alright, enjoy guys.
This week, the collaboration between Azure Lane and Wargaming introduces two new ships, the Yukikaze and the rear ship here, which is the Montpelier, to give it its correct American pronunciation, which of course is a town in Vermont. I confess I've been pronouncing it Montpelier up to now until I looked up the history. It was commissioned in 1942 and saw quite a lot of active service in the Pacific campaign and was stationed around Japan after the war. It's a light cruiser. It's very, very similar to the Cleveland, but it has a couple of distinct differences. It has a very slightly longer reload of 7 seconds, an increase of half a second, and it has very slightly more health, literally a few hundred extra health. But the main difference is that this has a 10-kilometer radar. It has the heavy cruiser radar, not the light cruiser radar, which will give this a significant spotting advantage over its tech tree cousin, the Cleveland. You can actually get the detection radius of this down to 9.3, which means you can actually stealth radar by about 700 meters, which is not a massive margin, but it can stealth radar technically. In all other respects, though, this is a Cleveland, so if you like the Cleveland, you'll probably like this ship. If you don't like the Cleveland, you probably won't like this ship. Taking a quick look around the port, then you can see there the slightly lower reload of 7 seconds. The hull is exactly the same as the Cleveland. The guns are otherwise exactly the same as the Cleveland. Same damage, same range, same ballistics. It can mount, obviously, damage control party. It has defensive AA. It can mount that 10-kilometer radar, or it can mount a spotting aircraft, but no one in the right mind would actually do that. And of course, you have hydroacoustic search, which you can mount on top of the radar. In terms of upgrades, that's how I've set this up, which is the same way that I would set up most of the light cruisers. Looking at the captain skills, you can see there I've set it up with a 10-point captain to be quite realistic as to what you might be putting on it. So I've just gone for some basic skills there. Don't forget you can pause this video if you want to study these in any detail. I'm just going to mouse over some of the bits from the sidebar here so you can see the detailed statistics. The AA on this, of course, is very, very good because it's Cleveland. As you will see in the upcoming replay, it's pretty effective even when it's not fully AA spec on the captain, which I'm definitely not. This is almost stock apart from the upgrade and the Def AA, which will prove to still be very effective. The armor plating is exactly the same as the Cleveland. It's a pretty squishy light cruiser, and of course the Citadel is very slightly above the water, slightly higher in the center, slightly lower fore and aft. If you're shooting a Cleveland or a Montpelier, make sure you aim for the center, that's for sure. Okay, we're going to take a look at a replay now. This is probably pretty good matchmaking here. We are top tier. There are 2 carriers, which for Cleveland obviously is not too much of a problem. It's pretty good news. And I also quite like this map for a light American cruiser. The problem these have is slightly short range, perhaps, and particularly, you know, if you're shooting at the end of your range, it's very difficult to hit things because of the ballistics are very floaty. So this map actually tends to compress things into the sort of DEFG lines, so it tends to be a lot easier because things get a lot closer together than they do on some other maps. So you're going to see me playing this in a sort of typical Cleveland-y kind of way. There's going to be a little bit of open water, there's going to be a bit of island hugging, sort of going between the two really. So I'm going to first of all head over to the top of the islands over there, just slightly to the left, and watch very closely this Ognavoy and also the North Carolina who's behind me, because we're going to be doing some pretty nice teamwork together in just a moment. So I'm going to push down above that island, and I'm going to be hoping to spam stuff that's underneath the wedge island in the middle, although that's actually not how it works out. I'll just skip ahead very slightly to when we make contact. So as you can see, the carrier has turned up on, or one of the carriers has turned up on this side, and they will be making regular visits to this part of the map for the rest of the game. And that poor Ognavoy, I suspect he may be AA spec actually. His AA is looking pretty effective. I'm just trying to add some of there. I haven't bothered popping my Def AA just yet. I'm going to save that and see if anything nastier comes our way. The Ognavoy seems to be dealing with those rockets pretty nicely. This guy is certainly a very good player. Knows how to handle being harassed by a carrier. He's doing exactly the right thing. He was dodging and weaving. He's not gone into the cap, and he is running towards me for a bit of AA cover, which is extremely sensible. And no doubt he's also turned off his AA once the planes have gone away. So I've looped around the back of the island so I don't get shot by anything nasty, and I'm just trying to get into cover here behind this island so I can easily, with my Cleveland style ballistics, I can easily lob that island in front of me to go and shoot down towards the direction towards where that York is, or just in front of him. You can see the enemy lightning there, just pushing into the cap. Our CV, one of our CVs has dropped some fighters there, I think, just to keep him spotted. Of course, lightning has very short duration, very fast reload smoke, so they can deal with carriers pretty well, although it looks like he hasn't bothered smoking just yet. So, I'm sitting here with a 10-kilometer radar, which, if this was a Cleveland, I would probably not be able to keep him spotted very well, because if I radared, he'd just run a few hundred meters to the south and he'd be out of radar, but he is significantly inside my radar range here, so I can easily keep him radared for the entire duration. Accidentally had AP loaded there from the last match. Switching to HE to help the Ognavoy. Ognavoy is being pretty aggressive because he knows I've got limited time on the radar, so he needs to kill this lightning very quickly. He's got my assistance there until the lightning goes around the corner, and he thinks he can finish him off, so he goes for it, which is good. Unfortunately, the lightning just goes unspotted, but then I think the carrier goes in and just picks him up again. I don't know why the lightning didn't smoke. Maybe he'd already used it. And the Ognavoy gets the kill there. He did very, very well. He is at risk of being carrier spotted there, so he's just smoking up so he can get the cap, which is extremely sensible. Not too difficult to dodge carrier torps if you're in smoke, especially if you know which direction they're coming from. Now I'm sweating a little bit here because there's an Amagi over there and there's a few other things around that can shoot me, so but I really, really want to give this Ognavoy some AA cover, so I'm just creeping forwards. I'm not spotted, and then I decide rather than try and reverse, I'm just gonna go around in a circle and risk kiting here. seemed to be the better. It seemed to be better to be going forwards and moving than reversing slowly backwards, where the Amagi could take me apart, because this thing does not want any attention at all from any battleships ever. You will not last long. Notice, however, on the mini-map there's a Cleveland, and there's also a battleship going around the bottom. So I've got my eye on those guys, and certainly when my radar comes back up, I'm going to be hovering over that to see where they are. Just trying to clean up as many planes as I can, really. Protect that North Carolina, who is also supporting us with the destroyer. So I'm going to go back into my little hidey hole, at least that's the plan. Just saying +1 Ognavoy there, because I think he did a fantastic job. He did all the right things in all the right orders, which is just all you can ask for in a destroyer, really. He's definitely going to get that cap. I'll just skip ahead a little bit to when the next contact gets made over on this flank. So it's about a minute later. The carriers harassed the Ognavoy a little bit more, but he's dealt with that admirably. And as you can see, there's a Monarch here, and a Cleveland, of course the sister ship of the Montpelier, is creeping up the flank here. So I rumble their little plan here. And my plan is, I don't want to sit on the corner because obviously the Monarch will just rush me and kill me. So I want to draw these guys northward, because they may not know that the Ognavoy is there, and they may not even know that the North Carolina is there. I'm not sure. So but I definitely want to try and entice them up to a point where the North Carolina, who's already acknowledged, I earlier during the skip forward, I pinged these guys, and North Carolina said, "Yep, I'm on it. Don't worry." So he's going to come north, and I'm hoping to draw these guys into a bit of a crossfire. So I'm just focusing now on the Cleveland, because I can do more relative damage to him. So just using my HE there. I don't have IFHE on this captain. I would choose that if I had a higher point captain, but I've used a 10-point captain just because I think that's representative of what the average player might put on this when they get it first. So just trying to entice these guys north, and Ognavoy is getting into a position where he can throw torps across, and these guys don't look like they're stopping. They do look like they're going to push all the way forward, so you can just see the torps there coming in from the right-hand side. And the North Carolina just getting into position now where he can broadside both of those guys. So you can see this bit of teamwork is shaping up quite nicely. I'm very glad that these two guys were over here with me. Otherwise this may have gone slightly differently. I'm still focusing completely on that Cleveland. I've just got my eye on that Monarch though, because if he does take some torps, I'm going to want to switch to him. Yep, he's definitely flooding there. You can see the flooding lights going. The Ognavoy getting a fantastic double trick shot there on both the battleship and the Cleveland, wiping them both out. And I'm just making sure that Monarch goes down, try and get a fire, or just kill him with pure damage. And all three of us are shooting him, so he should be no problem at all. Yep, and there he goes. Mischief managed. And the carrier, of course, one of the carriers is coming back for a look. Just saying in chat there how much how much I love those two guys, because they really work together with me really well there, and seem to sort of just understand what the plan was, which was great. So I'm going to go south and give a bit of AA support to that North Carolina, so we'll skip ahead a little bit again. Okay, so I've come back into my little hermit crab house here behind the rock, and I'm hoping to support this North Carolina. So he's going to be obviously throwing AP downrange. I'm going to be trying to get some fires on the Amagi, maybe the York if he comes over, using the fantastic ballistics, depending on what way you look at it, the very loopy ballistics of the Cleveland class, in order to throw my shells over to that Amagi without being spotted. I'm just creeping, making sure that the centre line of my ship doesn't go past the rock so I don't get spotted. I'm very confident that there's nothing any further to the right that's going to spot me. And you notice that I'm not right up against the rock, because I want to make sure that I can get my shells over even the highest part of the outcrop there. Fate is not very kind to me here with the fires, but never mind, I'm getting some damage here and there. The York's also creeping up, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem for the North Carolina, as long as he doesn't get close enough to get torped. And in any case, I can always zoom forward and help out with the York. Carrier was also having a go here, which is generally a bad idea, although I suppose I'm probably a better target than the North Carolina, which probably has even better AA than I do. and he's probably inside both bubbles there as well, so he is getting some shots on me, and eventually, you know, he would, if I stayed there, he would eventually wear me down, but I am getting most of his planes and probably slightly deplaning both of the carriers by this point. There you go, I'm up to what, 16 planes at this point. There will be a lot more, don't worry about that. So we're very even-ish on this. We're only one ship up. But no, beg pardon, we're 2 ships up. But we have significantly more points here. We've gained a lovely points lead from the caps and a couple of extra kills. So there's only 4 ships left, only 2 surface ships left. So I feel very confident in pushing forward because I know exactly where they are. So my plan here is, just in case that destroyer kills our battleship over on the other side, I'm going to try to protect this North Carolina from the carrier and then move my radar into the center of the map. But I think I'm going to be too late for this North Carolina, unfortunately. So it was good working with you, Binek, but I think you've had it. Unfortunately, my Def AA is on cooldown, so I can't use it to protect him. And I think he's had it. Yep, there he goes. Okay, so we're now 4 ships apiece because the destroyer did manage to torp our battleship over in the middle. So I'm basically going to head over towards the Ognovoy, try and team up with him again, maybe see if he wants a bit of AA cover, because no doubt the carrier will be, or both carriers will be searching for him rather than me, if they can. So, and it would be nice to cap as well. At this point, I'm a little bit worried because, you know, while I'm confident that I could kill the destroyer, the Amagi may be a little bit more difficult if I don't have spotting, but we've still got 2 carriers, so hopefully I will be able to spot him. So I'm just going to move over towards the top corner of C here whilst eating some planes. Carriers being not particularly brilliant with their approach angles, so they tend to be missing me quite a lot. This one's been quite effective with his rockets, the Furious. But unfortunately, he is a tier 6 and can't get near me very easily, particularly not with full squadrons. So, okay, I'm just going to park over here, and I'll skip forward a little bit to when the action starts again. So I've moved forward into a position where I can just lob this promontory here to get shells on that Amagi, and then as he moves forwards, I'm going to slowly reverse back round to make sure I don't get spotted once the planes go away, but of course I am plane spotted and he can shoot me, and this is a little bit risky, but I haven't really got much choice here. I need to do some damage to him. So I'm just trying to stay hidden to make that shot as hard as possible, because I know from experience of being on the other side in a battleship trying to shoot cruisers that are here that it's pretty difficult to aim through those trees. So just trying to help the carriers out here by getting some damage, get some fires maybe. Although I am very unlucky with the fires in this match. Even though I don't even have Demolition Expert, and my fire RNG in this match was not good. Here comes some more planes. Nom nom nom. I happened to get the kill there, but I certainly didn't do most of the damage. But we definitely needed to kill him. 868 points. Doing pretty well, although my health is very low. The Ognovoy next to me, his health is also pretty low. So he is very, very intelligently coming towards me. And I just type in chat here, stick to me like glue. Because together, our AA is probably actually pretty strong. I think I've still got... Yeah, I just checked my AA. I've still got most of it left. So we obviously need to try and stay alive. But with carriers in the game, on the enemy, there's no point in staying still. We may as well move. He's a one-shot. I'm not a one-shot, but I'm not very happy. And here come the carriers. I'll just ask him there if he's got smoke, because we could just sit in this smoke and wait out the time. But... unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Our Furious actually is also capping, which is very good of him. That was a good move. Speed up the process a little bit. Here comes some more planes. My Def AA is on cooldown. I'm not bothering to use sectors here because the sector switch on cruisers is pretty slow, and I find that you tend to make, or I tend to make a mistake more than getting it right. So in terms of when to switch, so I usually don't bother with cruisers. You could if you're on the ball, but I think for me personally it's less effective, so I don't bother. He's desperately trying to get that Ognivoy, who's living a charmed life here. Combination of wiggling and luck, I think. So we managed to get into the cap here, and I can see the bombers coming back, dive bombers and torps there, or the carpet bombers from the Furious. Obviously, if they can kill the Ognivoy, then the points will reset and they'll get a little bit more time, so they'll probably be going for the destroyer rather than me. I'm up to 49 planes. Def AA on both squadrons overhead in my inner bubble, and that's it, game over. We won through a bit of teamwork on our flank, which was very nice to see. And hopefully that's given you a good idea of what this ship is all about. Basically a Cleveland with a 10-kilometer radar. Quick shout out to Ethan, Schlanuel and Binek there in the Ognivoy, the Furious in North Carolina. They did a fantastic job, so if you're watching this, thanks guys. That was a great match, I really enjoyed it. So, what's my final verdict? Well, if you like the light cruiser playstyle, especially the American light cruiser playstyle, if you've played the Cleveland and you like the Cleveland, then yes, absolutely I would recommend this ship to you. It's just different enough with that 10-kilometer radar that you can put yourself in some different positions that you wouldn't be effective in the Cleveland. So if you like the look of the ship, then yes, I would recommend it. If you've played the Cleveland and you don't like the Cleveland, then no, I would not recommend this ship. And if you've never played any of the American light cruisers, get yourself on the American light cruiser silver ship line, play some of them and see if you like them. Do that first before purchase, because it's a very specific playstyle and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it, but some people don't like it. So be sure to check out a comparative silver ship before you purchase. One other thing that I forgot to mention on this earlier is that you can demount the anime camo and you can mount a normal camo, and it counts as a normal camo, and you can use normal commanders on these ships. So if you want to make this into a historical looking and historical behaving ship, you can. If you're watching this video, it should be available in the premium shop in your region right now.
Thank you, StatsBloke, for that great review. Certainly looks very nice. Yeah, as I said, please look him up on YouTube, Twitch, and make sure you join his Discord.